Hello again and welcome to another edition of Southern Country. Hi, I'm Herb Southern. Welcome to the show, my friends. Today I'm very lucky to have Capitol recording artist Ryan Shupe and the Rubberband. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Welcome to Southern Country. Ryan, I presume it's you that came up with the name Rubberband. How did you come up with that name and why?
Well, I was in a band and it broke up, and I wanted a band that wouldn't break up, and so I thought maybe I'll just call it Ryan Shupe and the Rubberband. Actually, my sister came up with that name because she said, "You don't even know who's in the band."
You're right.
And so at that point, we didn't know, and then it just kind of stuck. And since then, we've kind of solidified with us here, and so now that's what we're known throughout the world and the universe.
How many people went through the Rubberband to get this configuration that we have now?
I think we've had 3 other.
Maybe a dozen.
Well, at first it was, pretty transient, just for the first, little while, because it was mostly like I was in college and I just was jamming with my friends and stuff. So like one gig was one people and the next gig was, and then it would kind of started getting a little more serious. And then since then we've probably only had like maybe 3 people, something like that.
Okay. Before we go too far, everybody introduce themselves. Ryan, go ahead.
Ryan Shupe.
Instrument.
Oh, I play the fiddle, the guitar, and the mandolin.
Lead vocals.
And I sing the lead vocals.
Colin Botts. I play bass and kazoo and sing some backup vocals.
I'm Bart Olson. I play drums and fiddle once in a while.
I'm Craig Miner. I play the banjo and the mandolin and the guitar and the bouzouki and
the electric guitar.
Electric guitar and the background vocals and occasionally some and a clogging.
Yeah, you were great.
Some bassoon.
Any other made-up instruments you play, like the bouzouki?
And he sometimes sings like Aaron Neville.
Yeah, I'm the Swiss Army knife guy. That's me.
I'm Roger Archibald. I play the guitar and I sing the high harmonies and dance around like a crazy monkey.
Okay. Hey, let's talk about Big Dream.
Dream big.
Dream big.
Yeah.
All right.
It is a big dream.
It's a big, so far, I
is
tell
a
you.
big dream.
It is. I'm sure at one time it was, a big dream to where you are.
Yeah,
Dream.
Every musician dreams about wanting to play, and getting out there.
Self-written, self-played, no session players on the CD?
This is correct. Well, we have a couple friends that played.
My brother.
Colin's brother played trumpet, and we had another friend that played sax on one of the songs. It just kind of had a little flavor on there. But
So, in other words, what you're playing on the stage, what I just heard, is what you hear on the CD.
Yep.
Pretty much.
That's kind of one of the things I think that makes us, unique, is that we play on our own CD. We come up with our own songs. I write the songs. We all get together and arrange them, and so you get like a pretty varied sound, really organic.
It's a band mentality as opposed to a frontman mentality.
Wow. That's a good way to put it. I never thought of it as a band mentality.
Actually, a band.
A band, yeah.
Band.
You create the same sound for every show. Pretty much.
We try and mix it up a little bit, make it interesting for us and the audience members.
I was just going to say, being you guys on the CD and you guys on the stage makes it better for the audience, of course, because they can hear it actually. Well, they're going to buy that CD, they're going home to hear you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me about the music tell me about the other songs and some other music that's on that CD. Lyrically, instrumentation, and whose idea was it to write the songs for it?
Well, it has all the instruments that we have here. Craig played actually a little dobro, which is something that he doesn't usually do.
There's even B3, organ. I played some organ. Bart and I played a bunch of Brazilian percussion on one of the tracks.
Wow.
So it's all over the place.
We tried to keep it. I mean, Collins actually plays piano really well, and so we just kind of whipped out the organ, and he played a little bit on some stuff.
I'm just listening to you guys. Describe your sound.
Country unglued.
Yeah, I would say it comes from 5 guys with 5 very different backgrounds, but we're a country band, and we put it all into a big pot and mix it together. And
there you go.
I think we're getting we're kind of coming back to a little bit more of country used to be a little more acoustic,
Right, sure.
And I think that's kind of what we're doing, a little throwback a little bit to that original stuff.
Well, you have so many different instruments that you guys play. It's unbelievable. I was watching you play. Everybody's playing something different. You have some bluegrass instruments in there. You have country instruments in there. You have some rock instruments. So you have the And you guys, I read, you're all geniuses on your instruments.
Who wrote
Thank you,
that?
whoever wrote that. That's
I think it was a pretty good, you know, I saw you guys out there. I told Leo,
Well,
I
that's
said,
kind of
"You
an
guys are good."
understatement, but you know.
Is it what? What?
he said it's an understatement.
Understatement. Excuse me. All right.
And we're
So
humble,
humble,
too.
yeah.
Ever be so humble at home, huh?
Bart's the humble one.
Yeah. When you write a song, is it 100% you, 50% half and half real, or is it, have you written songs that are just made up in your mind?
Well, pretty much real.
Real.
Because
Except for
that's
Craig?
Except for the Banjo Boy song, because he doesn't play the banjo. I play the banjo. That's a song he wrote through the eyes of a banjo player. So.
Okay.
But you know, again, I try not to write like, well, hey, let's just come up with a song.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it'll be on the radio. Like I try and write something that I really, you know, feel and that I really can
relate to.
Seems like a lot of his songs. I mean, of course, I'm not a songwriter, but just from the outside, it seems like a lot of Ryan's songs, if not all of Ryan's songs, come from some real life experience that he's had.
Okay.
Even though it might be in third person,
Right.
it's something that maybe he experienced or he saw a friend go through or something.
Right.
So, I think to answer your question, yeah, I mean, you don't have to try and make it real.
Right.
You just write songs about real things.
Okay.
Well, and sometimes you come up with the story you know in your head, but the idea that it comes from you is what's real. I guess is what I'm saying.
Do you ever write for anybody else yet? Has anybody else ever recorded any of your music?
I don't think so.
Okay. So you're just pretty
Not
much.
that I'm aware of.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, we've had some people record a couple of our songs, but I haven't written a song for another artist.
Have you did you ever has any of your music ever been used where you walked into some place and heard your song playing in the background, someplace out in Utah where you guys are most popular?
Well, I saw us on CMT.
Yeah, well,
I was
okay.
walking in and I was like, "Hey, Greg, we're on TV."
There you go. That's nothing wrong with
Just like
that.
that.
There's been a handful of times when some regional films have used our music.
That's it, exactly.
And you know, that's kind of
that's
surprising
pretty
to see how
cool.
they use it and what context they put it and stuff. So
That's cool stuff.
yeah.
Hey, I read it also on one of the bios when I was doing the research for this, is that you have created a new genre of music. Is that a true or false statement? How do you feel about it? What do you play? Is it
Well, you know, genres are always so
general?
but I do think if that's what you want to say, I think that it's hard to reproduce our song and our music without us here. So you know, in a way, it's not the kind of song you can just like say, hey, why don't you guys just go up and play that Rancher and Rubber Band song? Because it probably won't sound like it
Do you ever
would
play the
with
same
us.
song twice the same on the stage? Or do you always ad-lib and invent a little
Yeah,
bit?
there's quite a bit of you know, we rehearse it and it sounds right. And,
Yeah.
you know, we play it on the CD that way, so we do it that way. But yeah, there's a lot of spontaneity too.
Spontaneity,
We
that's the
try
word,
we try to
spontaneity.
make it that way.
Yeah,
Every now and then something funny will happen on stage that's was spontaneous, like Craig was saying, and then sometimes we'll actually then go back and revisit that and rehearse it and work it into the show because it was such a funny moment.
All right, there you go. Now, you guys got a video out. Talk to the camera and tell them something that happened during the taping of that video, or the songwriting or something that nobody will ever hear unless they hear it right here in Southern Country.
They wouldn't let us jump on the trampoline.
What do you, Craig?
Actually, I did jump on the trampoline in the filming. I did a flip half twist, but it didn't make it in the editing. So.
Despite Craig's appearance, he is quite nimble. So, just kidding.
Ryan, what happened you can think of? Anything unusual happened taping that?
it didn't make it in the video shoot.
No, that something unusual happened during the taping of that video shoot that, you know, nobody will hear.
Well, I know. So in our video, you see these B-rolls, you know, of all these people that the director Peter Zavadil cast for the video. And the unfortunate thing that you don't catch in the video is a lot of the dialogue and the things that they were saying. You just see them in the video and you hear our music, but you can't actually hear what a lot of the, you know, there was this elder gentleman quoting Shakespeare, and he keeps getting a lot of the lines wrong and mispronouncing words, and it's really quite funny, but you don't get to see that.
Did you?
That is true. That's something you will not know. Everybody who was on that had a dream, and they were there, you know, expressing what they would like to be. Like one lady was pregnant; she wanted to be a mother, and the other guy wanted to be an actor, and one of them wanted to be a dancer. And you know, you don't get all their story, but each one of them was an individual who had, a story that was.
Before we show that video, how much input did you have in the making of that video? Whose idea was it? Did you guys get together and collaborate on that?
It was actually pretty collaborative.
Okay, good.
Peter Zavadil came up with the original, like kind of the general feel of it, but then he expressed interest in collaborating with us and said, I want to meet with you guys and get your thoughts and your, maybe you have an idea for this or that. And so we actually met for about 3 hours one time, and then another additional hour another time, called him a number of times. And we just talked about kind of what we did and didn't want to do in the video, so it turned out really collaborative.
One of the things we wanted to do is, because it's kind of a slower song, and you've seen our show, we kind of run around. We wanted to kind of capture a little bit of that fun, spontaneity that we have. And so you can see in the video there's some, people running around, we're kind of running around and being goofy and stuff.
People in the video, I believe it's the title track from your album.
The title track, Dream Big.
Yeah. You guys are based out of Salt Lake City, huh?
Yes.
All right. You birthed on the music scene in 1996 with your self-released album, If I Were a Bird. Correct?
This is correct.
Correct. So far, so good, huh?
So far, so good.
And I read that the Rubber Band is one of the premier bands in Utah. Am I going so far, so good?
Well, we'd be...
Who said that?
There's
a lot of good bands in Utah, we can tell you that.
Are there? There's a lot of
Oh,
good,
yeah.
I've never been to Utah. In fact, you guys are probably the only ones I ever talked to from Utah.
Really?
Everybody's south, Virginia,
Well, you
Georgia.
don't really think of Utah as being this thriving metropolis and this, cultural hub for America.
Yeah.
So, a lot of the art that happens there just stays there, and no one really hears about it elsewhere. So it's hard to get out of there.
Being one of the premier bands in Utah.
Who are your sources?
Are you guys taking a concept that made you guys, that premier band, taking it to the national level? Are you using the same formula that worked for you for the last 10 years in Utah that you're using now on the Capitol Records CD and on your shows that you're traveling around with?
Yeah, I think to touch again on what we were saying, we are a band. It's a band mentality. And the focus for us is the live show and trying to entertain people. And it's worked in Utah. It's worked in the West. And, as we're branching out now to the rest of the country, that's still what we try to do, is just put on a good show.
You plan on tweaking that formula at all in any way? Changes?
No, because I think people, we always are kind of, changing and progressing. But people want to come and see a band that believes in what they do and is putting on a good show and working hard. I think if they want to just hear the song, then they'll just go put on the CD.
Right. Now, here's another. I read this. You prove that whatever you do on stage, the bottom line is everybody appreciates a good song, good musicianship, and a good show. And a Rubber Band does it every time. True?
That's what we try and do.
I'm only reading it, guys.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Did we do it? That's the question.
Yeah, I thought you guys were good. I was waiting around, to set up here, and I thought, Leo and I were standing there, and I said, these guys are playing some good music there.
Thanks, Leo.
I thought you guys did a good job out there, and your clogging was great.
Thank you so much.
It's hard to find a good clogger.
Great clogs.
How'd you guys all meet? Let's talk about how you guys met in the
Scout camp.
in unison, huh? Scout camp.
How'd you
get in the picture?
Short, but
Actually, Ryan was hiking in the mountains, and
I can't wait for some of these answers.
And he stopped, and he saw this big rock, and he just wanted to move it to the side, and I was underneath the rock, and said, "Hey,
hey, you want to be in the band?"
And that's how it was.
Hey, do you play the guitar?
You have a guitar under the rock with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Roger played in a band with my sister.
Oh yeah, I read that. Right.
That's where it started, and then
That's how. Yeah, right.
Bart and I here met in college. That's what brought us to Utah. We're not originally from there.
Okay.
And then these guys knew Bart's brother because he's a fellow fiddler, and so it was kind of just.
And where did Craig fit into the picture at?
Actually, I saw Ryan as a kid. I was about 8 years old, and he was already performing professionally. He was doing a 4th of July festival down in the town where I lived.
Okay.
And I stumbled upon him, and so I knew of him.
Right.
And shortly thereafter, I ended up in a kid band also, separate from him. But we knew each other growing up because we were both kind of working musicians as kids, And then later on, we got together and formed a band, and that one broke up. And then he formed this band, and I almost right from the start joined up with these guys in the Rubber Band. So.
When you put the Rubber Band together, did you know what kind of sound you wanted to create, Ryan?
Well, I had an idea of, that I wanted it to be original songs and kind of, yeah.
In your head, you knew what you wanted.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of progressed over time.
Sure.
Of course, that's
Changed.
what always happens.
Right.
The thing about our sound is that it's a conglomerate of like 5 different guys. Like
Right.
when it comes to the creation of the music, it's really collaborative. It's not like Ryan saying, "All right, here's a song. We're going to do it in this style. Here's your part. Here's your part."
Everybody's say.
Like, "Well, let's try this. Well, what about doing a calypso style? What about
Right.
doing a Cajun feel?
Right.
What about you playing banjo and I'll play the mandolin or something?" And we got all these different options, and we just
Right.
try it.
Well,
for
you guys are very
as long as
versatile on
it takes.
instruments. Very versatile
Thank
on
you.
instruments from what I saw. You guys pick up anything you play. Whatever's out there, you guys are playing, you know.
Yeah,
I
Craig
saw
can
that.
even play the kazoo.
Yeah. Hey, you had 4 CDs before this one.
Yeah,
from,
that's
from your
correct.
regional air times.
We even got a Christmas album.
I know that. I saw the gift. It's called a Christmas album. It's right here. Yeah, you got a live CD, Simplified, and If I Were a Bird. How has those 4 albums compared to your the one out now? What's the improvements or musically and lyrically?
Well, the recording is better because we,
right.
you know, we got an engineer and we recorded it at a better place, and so it's
You're
sonically.
out of the basement?
Yeah, not out of the basement.
Okay.
So sonically, it's definitely
Yeah.
better.
Lyrically, you wrote songs
And
for all them?
I think it's the best album to date.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I honestly think that it is the best album we have so
okay.
far.
Yeah, and I think, you know, over time, any writer is going to improve as they hone their craft,
course.
and that's certainly been the case for Ryan.
Have any of the songs that were on the past 4 albums shown up on this one, or do you plan to put them on a future album?
Just 4 of the back catalog have ended up on this one, and so those have now come off of the old CDs, and the only way you can get them is on the new release.
Okay.
But they sound a lot better now with the high budget recording and whatnot.
All right. Influences, guys. Who's your
Bells and whistles.
influences?
Influences? I listen to a lot of obscure bluegrass stuff like Tony Rice, Bela Fleck, and most recently Alison Krauss, and probably most recently Keith Urban.
Keith Urban, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him sing the other night.
I like some metal, like some Metallica and some
Right.
AC/DC, and I think
Yeah, that's
one
part of the
I
job.
think one of my favorite rock bands
Yeah.
is like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers,
Okay.
and just go from there, and some country and.
Right. That's that. Bart?
As far as country, I like a lot of the older stuff, Johnny Cash,
Oh, yeah.
Willie Nelson.
Right.
But as far as drumming, I really liked a lot of the stuff that was on like the Police albums, or like Dave Matthews Band.
Right,
I think
sure.
they're really good, and Ben Harper, stuff like that.
I think my favorite writer is Tom Waits, hands down.
Okay.
But I also really, lately actually, I really love the new White Stripes album. I think it's killer. I just got that the other day. Big Johnny Cash fan too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, I
It's
think
always
you have
good.
to appreciate Johnny for what he did.
Without a doubt. Ryan, who's your influences going back to
Yeah, I
growing
think-
up?
You know, I like Bart was saying, Willie Nelson, and of course Johnny Cash.
Right.
And I think I was also a big Police fan. You know,
Okay,
I like
sure.
that kind of stuff, and Bruce Springsteen. So
course.
you know, a lot of, so you can kind of tell between
Yeah.
all those different areas.
You blend it all into your stage show.
Yeah.
It's all out there, I'm
all
telling
there.
you. How does it feel to work with your influences? You know, I'm sure you worked with some of your people that you looked up to as fans. Now you've got the opportunity
Yeah.
to work with them. How's
Yeah,
that,
recently we started
that's gotta
to
be cool.
meet a lot of these people. It's,
Yeah.
it's so cool. And
That's
it's,
got to be
it's-
real cool.
very
The
cool.
coolest thing
yeah.
is to
Yeah.
realize that they're just normal people. Like they're just real
Exactly.
people doing, you know, their job, doing the music that they do. And so, I don't know. I think it's, you know, when you grow up, you look at your influences as these kind of
They're normal?
untouchables. But then you realize that they're just normal and they're just doing kind of what you do.
That's
and
it. Just people doing a
it's
job.
kind of nice, actually.
Hey, Opry appearances. I read
Oh,
word
yeah.
that on your birthday you were on the Opry.
On my birthday, we played on the Grand Ole Opry.
That had to be one of your better birthday
It
presents.
was a good birthday present.
There it
Yeah,
was.
fun. I mean, it seems like all your life you hear about the Grand Ole
Yes.
Opry, and it's the place to be, the place to play, and then all of a sudden we're there.
Hanging out with little Jimmy Dickens.
Yeah.
He's cool. We were
Yeah, they were
hanging
cool
out
to
with
meet
him 2
him.
weeks ago.
They were really, really nice to
Yeah.
us. They were like, "Hey, come on out," you know. And we played. We got to play 2 songs. So they
Right,
they
sure.
shuffle in a lot.
Oh,
of
without a
different
doubt. I was there.
people. But they
I
were,
it,
you know,
sure.
they were quite entertained by it, and they liked it. So
The audience received you well?
yeah.
Good.
We felt very accepted.
Well, that's
It was
the
good.
key.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It had to be one of your highlights of your career so far?
Yeah.
Playing some other church of country music, they call it.
Yeah, it was
Is that
fun.
it? That's what they call it. You know?
We went to church at the opera. What did you call
We're
it?
going to
The
wrap
Mother
this up
Church.
here, but I heard that the Rubber Band was featured in the soundtrack of God's Army.
Yes, do you know that?
No, I
That's
just
one
read
of
it. I don't know anything about it. I
That's
just
one
read
of
that.
the regional films I was talking about earlier.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And you opened for Bob Dylan, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, and performed with Chris LeDoux, the late Chris. That was sad what happened to
Yes.
Chris. He's such a great guy. I had him
He
on
is
the
a great
show.
guy.
He was a great guy. John McEwen, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band's been on the show. I know Jeff and Bob and the crew.
Yeah, actually,
They're good guys.
John McEwen used to live in Salt Lake for a
Okay.
while, and so we played at some different festivals with him, and then we kind of know his son, Jonathan, who plays
Right.
with Hannah McEwen. So.
Right, they've got the McEwen-Hannon combo
Yeah.
out now.
Yep.
Did any, so far, all these stage shows, did anybody famous ever walked up and performed with you guys, jumped on?
Well, Tim O'Brien, the
Sure.
folk bluegrass guy,
Yeah.
joined us. Matt
cool.
Flinner, String Cheese Incident.
Okay.
David Grisman at one time.
Yeah, David Grisman's a good man. Yeah.
so-
That's pretty cool to do that.
Yeah.
Tell you-
We need to do more of that, though.
I think so too. I think
Oh, and
so
Chris
too.
Thiele, Nickel Creek.
How about, I read one thing I want to do is your Dream Big. I don't know why I put it backwards, but Dream Big is the promotional theme for the NBC's Three Wishes.
Yes.
How'd that feel?
It's
That's
been
cool.
really cool because we all of a sudden getting these people calling us, hey, I saw your song on NBC, you know, the big Three
Yeah,
Wishes thing. And,
sure,
and,
Amy
and so it's
Grant.
getting a lot of, and it's a really good presentation of the song, you know. It seems like a great show, and so,
a good
and we're
cause,
actually
too.
going to be on the show.
Oh wow, cool.
We went and played the song at one of their, you know, places, but I can't tell you more than that because I signed a confidentiality agreement.
Website, guys.
Shupe.net, SHUPE.net, N-E-T.
And it tells you where you guys are going, what you're
It has
doing,
a
and where
tour
you're
list. It
performing,
has
tour list.
It has a bio page. You can read all about us.
Right.
It has pictures and some music.
You could download a picture of Bart.
It has a news section where it tells you all
right.
about Ryan's monkey.
Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to wrap up with the Dream Big song again.
Yes.
I want to thank you guys for being on the show.
for
Appreciate
having
having
Thank
you here.
you. Thank you.
Appreciate you having in Southern Country. Good luck in your future success with the Rubber Band, and we'll look forward to seeing you down the road.
Sounds
All right,
good.
see
We'll
you.
see you again. Thanks.
Here's Ryan Shupe. There you go. He said.
Dream big.